There are many parks in our town. She tried to lift the box, but found it impossible to do. He has absolutely no respect for other people's feelings. He has the habit of reading the newspaper during meals. They rented the room on the second floor to a student. She has spent hours at the gym trying to lose weight. He doesn't have the ability to do the work properly. He returned to Japan after graduating from college. They were sitting on the sofa in our living room. She suggested to me that I call off the meeting. He looked refreshed after a good night's sleep. He was absent from school because of illness. They competed with each other for the prize. She asked me if I would be free next Sunday. She acknowledged that my statement was true. She came close to falling off the platform. His decision to retire surprised all of us. He was just on the verge of going to sleep. His proposals were adopted at the meeting. He's the most valuable player on our team. He's the boy we spoke about the other day. He went fishing instead of playing tennis. He was the only one who came to the party. He thinks of everything in terms of money. He regained consciousness in the hospital. She helped the old man across the street. His behavior never ceases to surprise me. He was disappointed at not being invited. He saw the accident on the way to school. He is an expert at solving such problems. He doesn't have any friends to play with. They seem to be in love with each other. She learned to ride a bicycle last year. He won the election by a large majority. He admits being involved in the scandal. She is determined to leave the company. His new novel will come out next month. He was just in time for the last train. He turned off all the lights at 11. She'll have left before you come back. She keeps on making the same mistakes. He works as hard as any other student. He bought eggs and milk from a farmer. He acted quickly and put out the fire. They didn't swim because it was cold. She substituted margarine for butter. She bought a new house the other day. He's a difficult person to deal with. He read the book from cover to cover. He is not always busy in the morning. She put lots of sugar in the coffee. He was running and calling for help. He is the man you met the other day. He appears to be strong and healthy. She's about the same height as you. She will get married to a rich man. She spends a lot of money on books. She is a fluent speaker of English. She grew up to be a beautiful lady. She got up at 7 in the morning. She goes to the movies once a week. She doesn't speak Japanese at home. She doesn't seem to be an American. She didn't like the horse at first. She didn't like living in the city. He's very good at playing baseball. He suggested that we go for a swim. He narrowly escaped being run over. He is able to speak 5 languages. He has plenty of money in the bank. He has been in Japan for 2 years. He doesn't watch television at all. She went to a movie the other day. She answered my letter right away. He's had many unhappy experiences. He is well spoken of by everybody. He is walking towards the station. He is able to speak 10 languages. He has the ability to do the work. My grandfather on my mother's side is celebrating his 60th birthday tomorrow. He drinks a lot of milk every day. My grandfather on my father's side is celebrating his 88th birthday tomorrow. He doesn't seem to be an American. When I was about to leave my house, I got a telephone call from her. He didn't give me anything to eat. I told the children to be quiet, but they just kept on being noisy. He did not speak unless spoken to. What he told us the other day simply doesn't make sense, does it? He can sing better than any of us. I told her once and for all that I wouldn't go shopping with her. She has the same bag as you have. He was disappointed that things didn't turn out as he had hoped. He is not at all afraid of snakes. If he had taken his doctor's advice, he might still be alive. He was absent because of illness. She said that she would follow him no matter where he went. He sent the letter back unopened. He couldn't sleep because of the noise outside his window. He seldom, if ever, reads a book. When I met her the other day, she asked about my parents. He robbed me of every cent I had. These flowers aren't only beautiful, but they smell nice. He readily agreed to my proposal. You had better ask him in advance how much it will cost. He predicted there would be rain. If he had studied harder, he would have passed the exam. He often goes abroad on business. She must have been very young when she wrote this poem. He never speaks unless spoken to. Parents are responsible for their children's education. He made a sharp turn to the left. I have been acquainted with her for more than 20 years. He is the last man I want to see. As soon as the child saw his mother, he stopped crying. He has a good command of English. When I talked with him on the phone, he sounded tired. He asked me where my uncle lived. They left at 5 o'clock, so they ought to be home by 6. They don't seem to be Americans. They found that their families didn't like each other. She will give a party next week. I wonder if she'll recognize me after all these years. She traveled all over the world. I had hardly opened my mouth when she interrupted me. She translated it word for word. I found it difficult to understand what he was saying. She took a taxi to the hospital. She must have been very beautiful when she was young. She had a basket full of apples. Just because he is wise doesn't mean that he's honest. She did nothing but cry all day. In order to get a reservation, you must use her name. Her eyes were filled with tears. She has been preparing for her trip to the USA. He's my most interesting friend. She became aware that her parents were watching her. He will be back in a day or two. I'm sure that she has arrived at the village by now. He was late because of the snow. I would like to give him a present for his birthday. He lives just around the corner. He's studying hard so he can pass the entrance exam. He is old enough to drive a car. Some people seldom speak unless they're spoken to. He is married with 2 children. If I had known about your illness, I could have visited you in the hospital. My daughter has grown out of all her old clothes. He is about to leave for London. After I got married, my Japanese got better and I could understand more. It was hard for him to live on his small pension. He has been dead for 5 years. Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. I saw a young boy crossing the street by himself.